Channing Tatum, who I'm starting to warm to. I'm starting to think he is a better actor than he let on whenever he first started acting.
What was his first movie?
Well, I don't remember his first movie, but I know he started out in the Step Up series, and he was much more of a
yes, that was that dance movie. Huh?
Yeah. Where he has to work in the dance studio because he's found doing a crime around there. So for community service, and all of that. But now he's been with Steven Soderbergh for a few films. He was in Haywire, which I very much liked Haywire, and now he's here with Magic Mike, which is about Channing Tatum, based loosely on Channing Tatum's experience before he was an actor as a male stripper, and he takes in another man named Alex Pettifer who's down on his luck living with his sister, and he then teaches him the trades of being a stripper. It also has Matthew McConaughey, who also I think is having someone referred to as a career renaissance, because he's also coming out with Killer Joe, the William Friedkin film, which I'm very excited for, and he was in Lincoln Lawyer, which was all right, but as an actor's piece, he did a very good job in that as well. Now, the interesting thing about Steven Soderbergh, he's one director who's faded at Cannes, which means pretty much everything he does is very widely accepted, especially over there in the film festival world. But I do like that he is a director who's not afraid to talk about genre movies, like Contagion. It was a movie about infection.
No, Haywire, he directed Contagion.
Huh? Yes. Okay. Haywire was a movie about people fighting. There's not going to be political side stories or things like that. You're going to get a fighting film where people don't just sit around talking about fighting, but they actually get out and do some of the gritty work. So here we have a male stripper movie that actually has male stripping in it. So he doesn't shy away from the genre movies, which I do think is very brave.
Now, an interesting fact: you were the only man.
Yes, that is true. That is true. I was the only man in the theater watching it. I sat on, well, I'll just say I sat in the front section because I was the only one that would then not be noticed. And I will say there were some elderly women there watching it, which did add a level of uncomfort. But whenever it started, again, it's a very good, stylish. He does the whole handheld, which I will say I have my reservations about digital cinema. But in the hands of Steven Soderbergh, I think he handles it very well, because he does get into tight corners and get these tight angles that allow you to see things as if we're really watching someone's life play by on a handheld video.
As if we're really watching a man stripping.
As if.
Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah, and I know, and I understand there are many people I talk to that say they don't want to see it because it's a male stripping movie, which it does have male stripping in it, which I do think is very, very brave for him to do.
So courageous. No, I will see that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I will see that movie. I'm not going to not see it just because there are male strippers in it. It will be uncomfortable, but
it also harks back to the B movies. We talked a lot about like exploitation movies, B movies, which things like Demi Moore and Striptease or just zombie strippers, things like that, wherever it actually has female stripping in them, it doesn't shy away from that, which is why I think it's a virtue of the film. It is predictable. You go in it and you know where it's going to go, you know who he's going to end up with, or else before you see it, if you don't know who he might end up with. So it is very much like, put slot A into slot A, slot B into slot B, and you know where it's going. But it's just very, I think, as you said, I know, courageous to be able to do things like that, but turn the tables and do it on a male audience instead of focusing only on the female audience.
Yeah, that is quite brave.
Yeah, which I think it turned out very well, and apparently everyone's seeming to like it. Not as much the male audience because they just won't go see it.
Yeah.